Hi. In today's video, we're going to be talking about modern relationships and how they impact emerging adults in today's life. In the last video, we covered how formation of relationships uh, affect emerging adulthood, like how emerging adults form romantic relationships and what factors influence the formation of these romantic relationships. And today we're going to cover the changing definitions of modern relationships, of how relationships have changed over time and what they are like today, and a lot of terms that we will be covering today that adults engage, like relationship terms or relationship styles that adults engage in today. So let's begin by talking about the changing definitions of modern relationships. Now, relationships in emerging adulthood are often very fluid. They reflect broader societal shifts into as to how intimacy, commitment, and partnership is understood. Traditional models emphasize more on monogamy, or more on long-term commitment, and eventually marriage. However, this is no longer the framework. This is no longer what happens today, especially in emerging adults. Instead, the relationship structures now include one non-traditional commitment models. Now, many emerging adults experiment with non-monogamous and casual arrangements before they finally settle down into something more traditional, if they decide to settle down at all. And the second one would be delayed marriage. Now, as emerging adults prioritize their growth, their career, their education, marriage is postponed. And hence, as a result, relationships formed during this stage may lack the traditional expectations that come out of a relationship of long-term commitment, and provides space for a lot more exploration. So this shift reflects a broad cultural redefinition of what intimacy is like, what partnership and what relationship is like today. But there's a lot more flexibility, a lot more independence involved. The evolution of relationships definition gives emerging adults the freedom to experiment, to explore, to find out what works best for them in their current life stage without the pressure of conforming to something more traditional. So let's look at some of the terms and some of the relationship styles that today's adults or today's emerging adults engage in, some of which you might have heard before. The first one is situationships. Now, situationships refer to a romantic or a sexual encounter that lacks any kind of formal labels or any kind of clear commitment. They often develop when two people are more than friends, but they have not defined as to where the relationship is going or whether the relationship is a committed partnership. This ambiguity that comes with the relationship allows for intimacy without the obligation of a traditional relationship. And hence, it consists of a lack of clarity about the future or the long term intentions with each other. The emotional and physical intimacy is present, but there is no official label to it. Like this, they do not define themselves, do not label themselves as if they're dating each other or they are each other's boyfriend or girlfriend. They just exist in a emotional and physical relationship without the label. And lastly, there's a reluctance or avoidance of defining the relationship. And this lack of definition can lead to a lot of confusion, a lot of unmet expectations, or emotional uncertainty, especially if one partner eventually starts desiring more commitment to the other. And if the other one does not, then it leads to a lot of communication gap, a lot of misunderstandings, and eventually a lot of conflicts and turmoil. Then we come on to the next term, which is hookup culture. Hookup culture refers to casual sexual encounters that are typically very short term and lack any kind of emotional or romantic commitment. In emerging adulthood, especially among college aged individuals, hooking up becomes the norm, especially in societal contexts like at parties, at bars, or just through online dating apps. Now, the characteristics of a hookup culture are that they focus only on the physical pleasure without any involvement of a long term investment. They take place in settings like in parties or digital platforms, and there's very low expectation for a follow up or a commitment after the encounter. This helps them explore their identity without the pressure of commitment. However, it can lead to a lot of emotional attachment or a confusion about the boundaries that might exist between a casual relationship and a romantic relationship. For some, these repeated hookups may lead to a lot of dissatisfaction as there is physical intimacy without any emotional connection that is present. And this can sometimes leave the individuals feeling very unfulfilled, very unsatisfied, feeling like they have been used or they are using the other partner. Then the next one would be friends with benefits. Uh, In this arrangement, friends engage in casual sexual activity without the expectation of any kind of romantic relationship. These arrangements are very common in emerging adults who seek intimacy but who don't want to commit to a relationship. Here, they engage, like friendship is combined with sexual intimacy, and there is no romantic or emotional involvement. This gives them the flexibility and the freedom to explore their sexuality in a very low pressure environment with someone who they trust. This involves a lot of blending of the friendship and the sexual intimacy, that involves a lot of blending of boundaries, which can complicate emotions. Now, if feelings of attachment and emotions develop from either side, it leads to a lot of tension and eventually dissolution of the friendship, or even a lot of conflicts in the solution, in the friendship. And hence, here the boundaries and the expectation need to be communicated in a very clear manner so as to respect each other and each other's needs. Next one would be polyamory or open relationships. They involve engaging in romantic or sexual relationships with multiple partners with the knowledge and consent of everybody who is involved. These types of relationship challenge the traditional norm that exists of just being with one partner at one time, that is monogamy, and offers a very alternative framework to intimacy and to commitment. However, here open communication and consent are extremely important, because polyamory and open relationship, especially if they are sexual in nature, come with a lot of other complications, and hence you need to be very open about who you're being with, the number of partners you're being with, and also get yourself regularly tested so as to not pass on any sexually transmitted diseases. Then comes multiple romantic or sexual partners are involved at the same time, and hence, you need to communicate this and so as to focus on mutual respect and transparency with all your partners. In emerging adulthood, polyamory and open relationship appeal to individuals who value their personal freedom and want to have the ability to form connections with more than one person. These relationships put a lot of emphasis on communication, boundary setting, and negotiation of emotional and physical needs. However, on the downside, it requires the person to have a lot of emotional maturity and self awareness. If these are not present, then it can lead to a lot of jealousy and insecurity that can arise. Because if a person does not have a strong sense of identity and lacks a secure base or a secure sense of identity, then it can lead to them feeling very jealous of all the other partners involved. Over here, in all of these terms, online dating and social media play an extremely important role, because apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, as well as social platforms like Instagram and Snapchat allow these individuals to engage in the various relationships that we talked about with potential partners very quickly and very easily, often based on very superficial factors such as appearances or social status, or maybe sometimes based on the things that they have written about themselves. Now it is very quick and convenient. It is just based on profile, and it allows something different than the traditional face-to-face dating. It involves features like swiping, liking, messaging, and allows the users to engage or disengage at their discretion. Um, then we come on to the last term, which is cohabitation. Cohabitation, also known as live-in relationship, has become a very common path for emerging adults in today's day as they navigate through their emotional and romantic relationships before they eventually settle down into marriage. There has been an explosion in this practice, regardless of whether they see themselves marrying that person or not, along with like the wide availability of acceptive along with the wide acceptance of premarital sex. Cohabiting reflects fundamental changes in how men and women date and eventually mate. Now, across several studies and samples, living together premaritally has been associated with a higher risk of divorce or with lower marital quality. This so-called cohabitation effect seems to be the strongest for those who cohabit with multiple romantic partners before they marry, and for those who live with the future spouses before they are engaged to be married. So, if you end up living in with someone who you are planning to marry, it exposes you to all of their living habits at a very early on stage and might eventually lead to conflicts later on. Although there are many reasons to why emerging adults are involved in serious romantic relationships, uh, some people do not cohabit because of their traditional religious beliefs. They believe that living with their partner before marriage goes against their religious values, especially in India. A few years ago, living with your partner before you were married was highly looked down upon. It was a big stigma. However, today things have changed. It is still uh, not very widely accepted, but a lot of adults today engage in this kind of practice before they marry, as to see how compatible they are, how well they would get along. Researchers and practitioners have also speculated that many people live together to test their relationship out before marriage, before deciding whether it is the right move for their relationship, and many young adults also endorse this practice because of this benefit. Some other reasons why people cohabit would be to spend more time with their partner, just because of convenience reasons, or if they are raising a child together. Now we'll be talking about how we can navigate through these modern relationships, how we can understand our needs, and how we can communicate those clearly in modern relationships. So it involves in a manner so as to maintain your emotional well-being and to foster healthier connections. Emerging adults should focus on the following. First is they should be able to define the boundaries in a very clear manner. Be clear about what you want from the relationship, whether it is casual, whether it is committed. Just be very open, be very open about your expectations with your partner so as to prevent any kind of misunderstandings. Second is to prioritize your mental and your emotional health in these um, relationships. Ensure that the relationship dynamic aligns with your emotional needs. Don't compromise on your well-being to fit into a particular relationship model, or don't compromise on it just to go along with what everybody is doing, or what your partner wants to do. Prioritize yourself first. Then comes develop communication skills. Honest and direct, just being honest and direct with your partner can take the relationship in a like can help the relationship in a much longer term, especially if it's a non-traditional setup like a friends with benefits situation or an open relationship. Ensure that both the parties are aware of the emotional as well as the physical boundaries. Stay open to change. Now, modern relationships can evolve over time with the changing emotional needs, with the changing environments, with the changing life circumstances. You should be able to renegotiate. You should be open to renegotiating the terms of the relationship, and also be open to renegotiating the terms if your partner wants to change things in the relationship. Lastly, practice self-awareness. Reflect on your relationship experiences and patterns. Understand how these relationships contribute to your own personal growth and emotional development. Introspect, see what kind of relationships are pulling you down, what kind of relationships are helping you grow, and engage and enter into those relationships which eventually affect you in a positive manner and affect your mental health in a positive manner rather than in a negative aspect. So with this we come to an end of this video. In the next video we will be talking about how we can develop our communication skills and how we can develop our conflict resolution skills in a way so that we can convert these relationships into longer lasting commitments and eventually in some cases marriage. Being able to communicate with your partner, being able to solve your conflicts in an effective manner is one skill that's extremely important, especially in emerging adulthood. So that is what we will look on in the next video. Thank you.